Hey, it's Mike with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Wednesday, it's July 2nd. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And real quickly, a couple of housekeeping things before we get started on the chart lesson. Uh, Friday is July 4th holiday in the U.S., and I thought we were only going to get a Friday off, but it looks like there's only trading through noon tomorrow as well. So looks like Thursday and Friday. Looks like we're going to have a long 4-day weekend here. So today will end this week. No chart lessons Thursday or Friday because the market closes at noon, and it's not worth even trying to trade that. If don't waste your time. Go enjoy the time off. Take a vacation or use it if you're just gung ho, use it to study. But don't try to trade that stuff. You'll just confuse yourself, and if you trade live, you'll probably lose some money. So, I'm not saying that the market won't move or can't move and have some setups, but it's not worth getting hung up in a trade and then getting stopped out or getting kicked out before the market closes and um, taking a small loss or maybe even taking a loss, period. So, just don't try to trade those things. Enjoy the time off. Um, I tried to trade them a few times back in the day, and I finally learned my lesson that you're just better off just take those days off and enjoy the time off. So that's what I do now, and that's what I'll be doing Thursday and Friday. So it's going to be a long weekend for me, and hopefully for you as well, and enjoy it. So, and we'll come back Monday ready to go again. So anyway, uh, have that going. I believe that's all. Oh, I was going to tell you there is a live trade on the website. It's already been posted to the website. I will post it here to YouTube next later this evening. Probably before this comes out. This video comes out, but maybe not. If you haven't seen it yet, it's there. So go watch that live student trade. It's a student trade, very nice trade. Um, Good setup and good trade by that student. And so go watch that if you haven't seen it yet. So anyway, let's get to the chart lesson. You can see we are very close to making that new high. What did we get? We got to 62.79.50, which is not quite there. I think this thing is 62.85 and a quarter is the all-time high there. So we're not quite to the all-time high. We're very close. My guess is we're gonna probably make an all-time high. We're on another tear up here. We're definitely in overbought territory. The market is closed today. So it's after 4 o'clock now, so the market is closed. So we almost closed on the highs here. So very bullish day. Um, it looked like it was going to be another range day, but we finally pushed through. We actually didn't push through the upper part of the range until just before the 2:30. So most of the day, I would say, was a range day with an upward bias. We bottomed out and turned up and traded up all day. We found some resistance at the range highs, but we finally pushed through it and pushed on higher. So, but let's flip over to that chart and we'll take a look. Okay, here's a look at our 2000 tick chart. You can see we found resistance up at the overnight highs, but we finally broke through, came back and tested this a few times. We did get at least a triple test there, and it is the second entry long. I didn't feel like um, that was a strong enough signal bar, and we'd already had a close outside and a couple of swings up. It's a possibility you could take that trade, but I didn't mark it, and I'm still not crazy about it. So, but you can see we did bounce across there a few times and finally go higher, and almost closed on the high. There was a 7:15 news item, so you had to kind of be flat during that today. But otherwise, once we've reversed off this low, it's what I'd call a spiking channel up, and this one was a little steep, and this is more of a 45-degree angle, which is more of a natural trend up. So um, yeah, once we got into this secondary trend, you needed to be very careful about going short. So let's zoom in and we'll go through these trades. But again, this was you had to kind of wait out this 7:15 news, then we bounced down here. There was an ideal second higher low here, but the signal bar is no good, so you can't take that. And then we're just kind of working up, and then we're working back down, and that's just a first entry there. Then we're working back up. You do get a first entry, and that is a second entry, and you get a closeout side and a new high, and it's also, I think you could argue that's a triple test. So maybe you enter there. I marked it green. You're better to wait on the lower high, which comes here, and then you don't get a very good signal bar, so I marked it green as well. So maybe you take either one of those, maybe you don't. They're not, neither one of them are a sure thing, but both of them, for the most part, fit our entry criteria. This is just not a great signal bar. Does it close in the lower 1/3? Maybe if it was one tick lower, maybe. So I think it's close, but I'm not crazy about it. But we run up to a new high, and we try to go higher once, twice. So you get a triple test across there. And I forgot to turn my ringer off, so I apologize for that. So sorry about that. But yeah, we had a triple test here. I think you can go short on that one. It looks like a little failed break higher as well. So we're working down, and you got, this is mostly sideways, but we're definitely trending down right there, and then we trend back up. So I think you can take that trade. And then we bounce here and go higher. And there's just no setup, so these are all first entries, but it's starting to look like a really strong trend by the time you get up in here, but there's just not any real setups up here. You got your closeout side and new high, but it continues to push higher. I think what you could have done here is you could have drawn another trend line. It doesn't really change things that much, if at all. But by this time you could say, okay, we're in a really strong trend, so any good signal bar that comes back to the key entry point you might enter on, but there's not any. You get one here, but it doesn't break above it. This one doesn't qualify, and then you're turning down again. So it doesn't really change anything if you did draw that, but I think that's correct. You end up in another two-tier channel working up there. And then we turn down, working down, close outside, move to a new low, and that's a second entry long, and it confirms that trend line. I like going long there. Turns out to be a nice move up. We find resistance at the former highs, come back, close outside, new low. That's just a first entry. Even though by the counts it would be a second entry, that's just one leg down. So the second entry doesn't trigger till here, so I like going long there. And I think this is actually I think it was this trade over here. The trade I posted, the trade example, I think this is it over here. But I like this one as well. And if you did have a second entry here, you could enter on this one, but in my opinion, that's just one leg down. There might be a hidden second entry there, but I'd wait and see if you get a true second entry by the way it looks, and I think that comes right there. We come back up, we turn down here, and you got what I could argue already a triple test, but that's not a good enough signal bar, but it comes back again and breaks higher and fails and turns down. I don't think you can wait till here to go short, but that's bullish enough that you might trade that on the engulfing bar after it broke higher and turned down. So maybe you go short there. You got at least a triple test, and you got the breakout side, close outside here, and a new high as well. So I think you could take that. I don't think I'll wait till here. It still would have worked if you did. So if you did go short there, but there's just not much room there, as you can see. There's only like 5 ticks straight down, and usually the market doesn't go straight down. It'll work its way over, and the more you come up, the less room you got. So I wasn't crazy about it. I marked it green. Of course, we do end up with a break right there, and you get a second entry long right here. I don't think you can enter that on the engulfing bar, and it closes with too much stem. So, and this is the one, I think this was the live trade example I posted. And so you need to wait and see if you get a higher low here, which you do, and you get a good signal bar. So I like going long there. Now it is a little congested, and that could have held you out of it, but you can clearly see we made a higher high, now a higher low. I think you're okay there if you understand what's going on. It's the first break of a strong trend up as well, so we're probably going to retest these highs and probably make a new high before it's over, and sure enough it goes on up. Close outside, move up. That's just a first entry short there. But you do get a second entry here, but it's an inside bar. Then you get a lower high, and that bar's, I don't know if it qualifies or not. And then you get a failure here, but it's on the wrong side. So I just wait and see if you get another bounce off the trend line, which you do. So notice you got a channel working down. You get a close outside, move to a new low, and it bounces right off the key entry point. I like going long there because this is obviously played out, and you're getting a setup right off the key entry point. There's a higher low right here, but by that time it looks really sideways and congested. It should have taken on off. Or broke above one of these other bars here, and you can see we're really getting some selling there. So I think you have to sit tight on that, and this whole thing, you end up making a higher high there, and then you get a first entry and a second entry, and then this would be a higher low, and you got a multiple test across there, so at least a triple test. So I like entering on that one. If this would have been a good signal bar, you probably still couldn't take it because you're in this down channel. But it would have been a possibility. But here you get the close outside. You don't make a new low, but that's because this is the dominant pattern, and it overpowers this little sideways stuff here, and this thing takes off. So you might argue for that to be green, but I liked it after you've got the triple test there, and you see it does take off. And then you get the same thing. You're just kind of working sideways, and there's another triple test, but I don't think that signal bar is good enough. You get a lower high, same thing. It's got too much stem. And then you bounce, and I don't think that's a good enough signal bar. It is a second entry long when it breaks above that, but I don't think it's a good enough signal bar. We run up. There is a second entry short here, and that signal bar would probably qualify, but it doesn't break below it again. And then it pushes higher and turns down again. Now, you might enter that on the engulfing bar, but it's starting to look really sideways, and it still closes above the EMA, so I don't think you want to go short below this bar closing. But it broke higher. I believe it broke higher first and turned down. If so, that's strong enough bar to the left that you could enter that on the engulfing bar. So maybe you enter it that way. And again, that's 90% of you probably, or 99% of you should never trade engulfing bars. Just skip them. But there it is, and there's another second entry long here, but again, the signal bar doesn't qualify. Then we get another turn down there, but that's just a double top, and we did make a higher high. So I think you have to wait. You can't take that on that entry there. And of course, now you get a clear, confirmed close outside, and notice this was a new high, so that's a first entry, and so when it breaks above that bar, it's a second entry long. So I like going long. It's also a higher low. And you wouldn't have got anything much more than a scalp out of it because it comes back here, but it takes off again and runs up. And notice we got a channel working up. Then you get a close outside, and you actually get two legs back. Does that close? And we got 1, 2, 3 triple tests there. So a break above that's a triple test and a second entry long on the breakout, which is probably enough to go long. But I'm not crazy about that signal bar. So again, I marked it green, but I'm not crazy about it. In real time, I didn't like it. So, but there's reasons to consider it. So if you took it, I'd give it a green. And if you skipped it, you did the right thing probably, because I didn't like it either. So anyway, prices start working back down, and that takes us into 230. So can't go long here, and I don't see any shorts. So and that took us into the close. So there it is for today. Mostly uphill all day, really, from just after the 8:30 open until the close. It was all the way up. It was up all the way. So another good trading day. We continue to push higher. This market's going to make all-time new highs, in my opinion. We're too close, probably not to. So we'll see what happens. We got a long weekend to go, and most of your banks are going to be closed, so they won't be trading. And the market's going to close at noon anyway, tomorrow and Friday. So just enjoy your vacation. Take the time off, and we'll see you on Monday when we return on Monday. So I'm going to wrap it up. going to start my vacation, my 4-day holiday. Hope you enjoy yours, and I'll see you on Monday. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.